There's a quote going around that refers to how everyone who used to sneak out of the house, drive around with criminals until sunrise, now gets anxiety going to the grocery store. So is that an age thing or is that self-esteem?
Oh
Welcome to
my
the
God.
Montana podcast. Zoli, what are your thoughts?
That's so funny. I got an image of me at, how old was I? 15. When I started rebelling, 14, 15, I would sneak out of the house and go sit with a neighbor boy. It was Conrad Rayfield. Conrad, if you're listening, I remember this. We would smoke cigarettes and just talk. And then later on, my friends would pick me up and we'd drive around. It was very exciting until I decided to tell my dad's secretary because I thought she was my friend. She's like, yeah, right. She tells dad. So the next time I did this, I come in and the door's locked. That door came flying open and he grabbed me. He said, get in here, girl. Oh boy. Oh boy. It was not good, but I didn't do that. I think the anxiety doesn't come from that. I think the anxiety is just normal living on earth behavior that we react so much to external stimuli. Our nervous systems need help. Right now, I think our nervous systems are imploding with electromagnetic energy from unresolved recovery issues, from health issues, from intel, from media. There's so much. We have to find ways to calm that. And it could be from what you're talking about. I don't know. I mean, I don't know you guys. It's your personal life. But I am overwhelmed at times with how difficult it is for me to remember that rest is 50% of the equation.
That is a tough one to remember. When I get carried away with anxiety, I don't think that of rest is a solution. I'm too busy worked up about the worries.
Where does it come from, you think? Can you locate in your body where it is when that happens, you guys? It's usually the lower chakras, first, second, third, sexuality, pain, inner child worry, attachment from entities. And we are just programmed to do that from our childhood. We're programmed from reactivity, from getting too much at one time and not handling it. But I find that if I can find where it is in my body, if I can breathe into it, it's a practice and it's hard, but it will really, really help to find where you're feeling this, not necessarily why, because that may not happen. Oh, it's from this or this, so they need to stop. Well, they probably won't. Well, he made me do that. No, I chose to do that, for whatever reason. But we're blameaholics. We always want to blame. If you give somebody the 3-fingered salute, or pointing at someone, what we're doing is pointing all these other fingers back at ourselves. We all do it. It's just part of life on earth. Some people more than others. There's times in my life where I did it more than I should. And you're angry, you're upset, you're scared. And fear really is the opposite from love. It's really not hate. We hate people. Why do we hate people or things? But not because of what they did to us. It's because of what we want to do back to them. That's the hate. And the anxiety will come when the feelings of everything, distrust, discordance, disassociation, all of this throws our energy field into a state of flux. We don't know where it is. So we start looking for reasons, the rational brain. But what we're trying to do is grieve. It's sadness. Like, oh my God, why does this keep happening, this situation? Or why do I keep reacting like this? Or why does this, why? There's a lot of reasons. It could be karmic stuff. It can be Saturn's moving through your chart going, hey, you're going to get this right now. It can be a lot of things. But I think we're trying to get to the sadness and the grief. I think.
How does the astrological affect our self-worth?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I don't know. That's such a personal thing. And then what is self worth? What is our value system? How much have we integrated into our daily life and our security to say that we can go to that when we're stressed or hurt? The chart will definitely impact challenges. Uh, the moon, Saturn, Uranus, Venus, all this stuff gets triggered. And then these planets talk to each other, and we're trying to talk to them. We don't know what they're saying. We don't know the language. But I really am an advocate for y'all to get a natal chart done. A Hori chart, Hoary, which means hourly, daily, whatever. And that's the Western method. Or the Vedic astrology. Vedic astrology is wonderful. I'm learning a lot from it. But that will give you a map, a roadway of where you are in this life and what the weather's going to be, so to speak, when you go into a situation in a year. Then you have to decide what to do. This is all free will. You don't have to do that. It's just an option. But the charts really, really they're a gift. And when you look at somebody's chart, I would suggest having a huge amount of respect because you're looking at their soul.
Oh, wow. So in that way, it brings us closer to our soul and away from all these physical things that cause and emotional things that cause anxiety.
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't do well with it sometimes. You're going to have both. You're going to have both. And that's the hard thing. When we reach this point of just peace of mind and thank you for my beautiful life. Well, within a short period of time, boom, something's going to happen. It's just how life is. And what is it that happens? What happens is external stimuli come and affect our energy field, or your internal stuff comes up. It's probably going to happen at the same time. I hadn't figured it out. There are people who are greater thinkers than I can. I can be. But that's why I say get some counseling, get some therapeutic tools. If you're having a really hard time with this, that to me is the best way to ask for help from people that can actually help you.
What trips me up is that self-esteem should be natural, logically. So why isn't it the default for most people?
Why should it be logic? Why should it be there? Why do you think it should be there?
Well, for self-preservation reasons, we're naturally we should have some self-care and put ourselves before others just for mere survival.
Yeah, that is what, as parents, that's what you teach your children. You're really teaching them how to survive in the world. Okay, you know how to survive and live. Now go live your life. You'll stay as connected as you choose, as we choose. But I think what you're talking about is self-survival, not self-esteem. Self-esteem, to me at least, is an internal value that I know that I have the confidence to respond rather than react. I talk a lot about the second house, Taurus. Venus rules Taurus. Kindness, love, beauty, whatever. Taurus is an earth sign, and it is the taproot. It is grounded. And if any of y'all are a Taurus sun sign, people say, well, you just won't change, you're stubborn. Here's why. Because your values, what it took to get there. You're not just going to be the fool in the tarot and throw it off. And a lot of Taurus have a space in between their teeth right here. That's a very Taurus thing, by the way. It's kind of fun. But your value system, I think, is earth sign. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And those signs feed me. They feed me. I get comfort from that. So what is your value system? That will tell you a lot about your self-esteem. But it takes time to develop that. Maybe you came in with some gifts already with that. I think everybody does, but how can we access that? That's the question.
This is a good question, and how we access those gifts and what's within us rather than seeking external validation all the time.
Yeah, the all the time isn't good, but I think seeking external validation, that is an information, uh, it's like a time release thing. You'll go to a counselor or talk to a friend or go to a class or something, and you'll come out of it, your head is swimming, and then little pieces of it will start floating in as like little time release things, you know. I like it's very Star Wars. It's like you're going into different realities or different frequencies because you're being asked to look at something differently. You're being asked to think differently. And that can be very threatening. That drives me crazy sometimes. I'd rather just stay chill, than have to change sometimes. But you know how that goes. It's not going to work.
Yes, you'll get pushed out into that change willingly or unwillingly.
Yeah, we do. And that's how our soul pushes us to change. The soul really doesn't care what we do because after thousands of years, we will start caring what our soul is. We have free will. It has to come from us.
So how do we get better at being aware of those things and balancing that with just our day-to-day physical?
Oh, that's beautiful. I think look at the day-to-day physical. This is a recent understanding that I've been given, this very quiet and I think very sacred, where Spirit said, as I've mentioned before, make your daily life sacred, be your beloved. It's in our daily life, it's in our patterns that we develop the consistency and the ability to deal with the challenges. We're always rushing into the future with it or dealing with this drama from the past. Now, all that it's not that it's not valuable, but if we seek constant validation, that is what we're looking for, what confidence looks like on somebody else. What does that look like? How can I get that? It really, really is a process. But this learning that I'm understanding, this going further within and saying, my daily life is sacred. That's where my lessons are going to come from. Whatever happens in the future, are we creating that? There's all kind of theories on that. I believe consciousness doesn't create reality. I believe consciousness is reality because it's all happening at the same time. The David kingdoms, the cryptids, the people, the so-called UFO people, the masters hierarchy, it's all one energy field. And we separate it to learn about it. We separate it with the function of the brain, which is time. And time moves us through space, right? We can't move through space without experiencing time, I don't think. I just thought of that. That may not be true. You'll need to check everything I say because a lot of it's just ZoliIsm. So.
Well, they make you think, like, why can't we get out of time in order to connect to these energies better, in order to understand better than we can in the physical or when we're in time?
It's like being on a ride in Disneyland. You're 30 feet up in the air. You're not going to get off the ride just because you want to be on the ground. You jump out. You have an agreement that you'll stay on that until it ends. And that's what time is. It's our brains. Now, it's almost a dichotomy because on this planet, we have a brain. You are ensouled with a brain. We experience time from that. So when temporal anomalies happen, it's something that is from our brain or affecting our brain. The astral realm, there is no time astral above this planet. However, when you're on the astral realm in between lives, you can experience a form of time when you connect with Earth. And I don't quite understand it, but they tell me it's true. You don't have a physical anything when you're out of this planet. But part of the play my silly game is you will have a body. It will hurt sometimes. You will have a brain. It will lock you into time. You will move through space and you'll stay pretty much in the dimension that you're in, which is the third, moving through the fourth. The fifth comes in and out. I'm still arguing with my woo-woo friends about that one. You say you're in the fifth dimension, but I can see you. I don't know.
Isn't it interesting how time exists? That's what we're in the physical, so we are, a lot of our problems and struggles are because of time. So it got me thinking about how the spiritual answers we are looking for, we might not understand them as fully because of the impact of time.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Maybe we're not meant to understand them fully, but we're meant to understand them appropriate to where we are right then. This thing about daily life, being our beloved and treating our daily life sacred, is how we experience those things. And I think as we evolve and understand, more of that will come through. But if you force it with drug and alcohol, who knows what you're getting? You may get bizarre neurotransmitters, your frontal brain, your prefrontal cortex might shut down or go haywire. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. You know, humanity uses all kind of wacky things to push the limits. I think the only limit, that we need to push is learning who we are. And you're going to learn who you are by calming down, focusing on your daily life, and having gratitude and feeling a groundedness on this planet. You are on this planet. You don't need to leave. Your body is made for Earth. People who live on other planets in our solar system, they're beyond the physical, but their bodies were made for those energy fields, the signature of where they lived. We are here because the signature of this planet, our physical bodies are made from the elements of the earth. That's huge. That is really, really huge. Earth, wind, water, fire, your nervous system, the fire, the water in the body, the oceans, you know, the physical self, the bones, Capricorn. You know, it's grace and it's dignity to treat these physical bodies as though they are a piece of the earth, and that there is dignity in that and there's grace in that. And how do we do that? We do that by living each day and learning to pay attention. If I do this, when I do this, my life goes well and I feel calm. When I do it. Now, you know what that means. But to live each day as though this is sacred, somehow I may not understand it, but I can feel some of it. And by feeling some of it, you're telling the guidance around you and your own energy field, I'm ready for the next step. As you grow by allowing these energies, these abilities that you want will come to you naturally. Naturally. Otherwise, it's like taking a glass, an 8-ounce glass, and trying to pour 16 ounces into it. It's going to overflow and not go anywhere, and you're probably going to get in trouble. So the daily life, the dignity and the respect of just living your life. And my God, I have mercy and understanding for people that have very hard lives. About 2/3 of the planet lives like that, where every day is mundane. You don't need to give up your house to help that. You need to live in your house, in your body, your mind, and your spirit. Find out what your part is in being of assistance to this world. What is your part? It's not all of the pieces. It's just not. You will have a specific energy field to where you can help things and move things along in a small way, which multiplies with a group of people, or maybe in a big way. I don't know. But you do that by living your life daily.
That's very precious and so comforting to remind people that just living your life is what you're here to do. So many people, like you said, they're living hard lives. This is a hard world to live in. Just what I love about being your beloved and spiritualizing your daily stuff is that sometimes just getting up in the morning and doing, what's required to survive is all people can do. And letting them know that you're enough, you're doing it beautifully is so comforting.
Yeah, it is comforting. And we're told that it's not exciting, it's not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's not dramatic. It's not, because that stuff burns fast and too hot. It burns itself out. It just does. That's not saying you can't do fun stuff like that. It's not saying that. I'm not putting any judgment on it. But that the real growth comes from inside of this. It comes from inside the vessel. Your soul lives in a cavity right here in the right-handed heart. You have an energetic heart. Your chakra system it doesn't run through your physical heart. It runs through your energetic heart. That is where your soul lives. That is who you really are and what you come in each lifetime to work towards. It's like looking in the sky and seeing that light that's so distant. We'll all get there. Everyone is destined to become a master. Everyone is. Maitreya, my God, what was it, 8 million years? He and the Buddha, the 8 million years it took them to get to the point they're at. And Maitreya is a realized master. He's beyond ascended. He is a realized master. It might take each of us that long or longer. Now, the fact that things are speeding up a little bit, so they say, it's easier than the times they did. You see that. To be a 2.5 master at the time of Jesus, that was very evolved. He was a 4th degree master. So as we lift each other up by our own evolution, often it is like, watch me do this. Watch me make mistakes. That's why I talk a lot about the silly stuff that I've done. And because I didn't know any better. I was young. I didn't have a prefrontal cortex that was developed. So what? You too will do funny stuff. You'll make a lot of mistakes. When are we going to quit blaming ourselves for that? I don't know. You and I had the discussion about what is it with women that we just do this. We are the nurturers. We feel a lot of this. I think I talked about a conversation I had with my brother in spirit, who I adore, Ray Hernandez, when he met his new wife. And he said, Zoli, now I have a female to feel my feelings through me. I thought, well, that's profound. That's part of what we do. As women, we empath on people who we love. It's not going to change. You're not going to stop doing that. So what I have to do, so Zoli, what do you do? Well, happened the other day. My husband was working hard there. We're in backhoe week at the ranch. We rent these backhoes and these trucks and these helpers, and we go out and we got to take down trees that don't fit anymore. It's busy and hard work. He was upset. I was upset because he was upset. I didn't show it, but I felt disengaged. And I thought, I'm empathing on him. So a lot of what you're feeling is not yours as a female. It's just not to it. And if you are a water sign, you're going to feel it even more. Linda, you and I talk about this. Oh my God, you're a Cancerian. I have moon in Cancer, South Node in Cancer. Oh my God, my whole family stuff, it's all in Cancer. When I was younger, I said I was like a 14-year-old drag queen. Well, I don't do that anymore. I've gotten a lot of help. But we have to work through this stuff and cycle it. But you will empath, even if you're not an empath. As a female, you are gifted, embodied with the ability to feel divinity inside of you. It's quiet, it's hidden, it's arcane, and men seek that. When we are in a male body, we seek that from the female. So you will feel that. But I think to ask the self, why am I upset? Well, it's because my dog is sick, or my son or my daughter is upset. Well, of course you're going to be upset. But being upset and acting upset are two different things, you see. So with all of my drama, my personality, I'm a Ray 4, we're the dramatists, we like color. I mean, look at this art, look at these costumes. And like, whoo. But I will feel things in that way. So I feel things through perfume, through color, through the feminine arts. That's except sewing. I can't sew worth that shit. You don't want me to sew. I sew everything to my clothes. Anyway, you will feel in accordance with what your astrology chart has gifted you. Now, if you are a female and you are an earth sign, and you actually have some logical thought somewhere, I don't think females were born with a lot of logical thought. I don't know. I know female scientists, they're more thinking than feeling. I learned from them. So does that make sense? Did I answer that?
Yeah, it really does. It makes me wonder how we do better at supporting ourselves instead of tearing everything down all the time.
I don't know. Send me an email when you figure it out. I think females, we are programmed to be responsible for the feelings of the world, the emotions of the world. Will that change? I don't know, but that's clearly how it's been. And I don't think we're blamed for that as much as we feel it, we sense it. We are the nurturers. We carry the families through the education. We carry those things. It's demonstrated very well. My Hunka family on the Rosebud Sioux Reservation. That is very definite lines for ceremonies, what males and females do. Definite laws. And it doesn't come because they're abusing women. It doesn't. There are just as many rules for men. But it's to protect your energy field. What are you doing as a woman to protect your energy field? Bunch of yelling, whatever. It's like, I'll be back in a minute. Go in the bathroom and go. You chill. With Tom and I, now my husband, who's this huge guy with a big barrel chest, when he talks, if I'm on the phone, I have to go 3 or 4 rooms over or outside. He has a booming voice. I don't blame him for that. I'll just move myself into another room. Sometimes it's great to hear. So you have to set physical boundaries also to protect your energy field. And if you need to explain that sometimes, explain it. I'm just taking a minute. Something wrong? No, nothing wrong. I just am taking a few minutes. I don't know. How would you handle it?
Very wise, because we really do need that moment sometimes to maybe just separate, be aware that we're empathing, or being able to separate. Okay, this isn't me. I'm not in charge of fixing this situation at the moment, and just taking a breath.
Taking a breath. And I will tell you, women and females, maybe you don't realize the innate power that you have and how much your men depend upon you to be that. Just to be that you are criticizing about yourself and trying to fix. They seek that out because they don't have that. They're not supposed to. We are supposed to. So we become more like ourselves, I think. And as we calm and become more like ourselves, to say we become more feminine, it doesn't mean that we all of a sudden we start wearing a bunch of makeup and wearing 5-inch heels. That's not feminine. That's cultural behaviorism. That is glamour. That's not what it is. The essence of who you are as a female, you can't change that. That is who you are. And we try to get away from it because we don't understand it. Now, I can hear my new age friends saying, well, women have been abused for so long. I said, well, haven't men? You're not allowed to feel. You have to go to work. You have to drink. You have to do all this stuff. It goes both ways. But who and what you are as a female in a female body, the endocrine system, the neurology, the physical looks, all of that is a signature of femininity. And that is what you give. You give to yourself, to the world, with boundaries. But that is what the males will seek out as we seek out things in them that we don't have.
Really is a beautiful connection there between the two, and how when you become closer to yourself, you allow that instead of trying to change others. You're really focused on your own stuff.
Yeah, the chaining other, we all do that. We all do it. And the reason we do it, I think, we feel insecure, or I don't want you to do that because it bothers me, or it bothers me that you can do that and I can't. There's all kind of reasons. But we're greedy with our time and our space. And when Tom and I moved into this house, we just got married, leave Olympia, move to Montana, get a new house, this and that. We had territory wars. You going to put that there? Well, I don't think you should put that there. Well, you put that over there. Yeah, but I need that there. Well, you really don't need that because I don't like how it looks. Well, let me put it over here. No, why don't you put it in the garage? I'm not putting it in the garage. Why don't you put that bowl of feathers somewhere where I can't see it? And this went on for 2 years. 2 years we had been single. He'd been single for many years. I had been single for 2 or 3. But you develop your patterns. But it was territory wars. Sooner or later, it calmed down. But we're just going to do this stupid shit. We are funny. And the more we look back at this going, I can't believe I did that. What was I thinking? Well, we weren't thinking as much as we were afraid. We're afraid. And we try to control others when we feel afraid. Before this session, I was out. I've got me a little electric lawnmower. Don't even live in California, but I got electric lawnmower, electric weed eater because they're lighter. I'm mowing the yards. We got 5 yards, and I'm weed eating, and I like doing it. It took 14 years to let me do this from my husband, who thought I shouldn't do it. Now, why did he think that? I don't know. But it's not a girl thing to do. Try being married to an operator. Let me tell you. So this was how our battle, our war. Well, we need roles. The role is, if you're outside, why are you going to mow that over? Well, so now there's not a problem with it. But we have to work through these things. Sometimes men and women, you're going to have to stand up for yourself and show physically that it's okay. You're never going to resolve it. We're all insane.
It's a hilarious example of how we are and how we really do have to work through our own stuff. And, if you had continued the territory wars without working through it, then you never would have gotten anywhere.
No, we wouldn't have. And the house would look like, this is your side and this is my side, I guess. I'm an Aries. Aries can be a pushy, but he has an Aries South Node. He can be pushy. Come on. You kind of grow up and out of it, and you get sick of the fight because you realize that love is there, and love is patient, and it is kind, and it is understanding. And I think love will win in the end.
That's really true. It always comes back to love. And when you're working from a position of love, then there's no more competition or arguments as well.
It's really, to me, what is love for my home, my family, is to do my daily routines for me. To do that when I get up in the morning, to say, night is done, day is here. Thank you for bringing me through the night. During the day, to feel gratitude and beauty, to walk through the house. I talk to the unseen. You don't need to do that. Believe me, they'll drive you crazy. But at times they'll say, smell this, there's a scent coming in, or look at this, or look at that. And I have to stop and manage my emotions. And your daily life will ask you to manage your emotion, to be aware of what goes in your mouth and what comes out of your mouth and what happens in between those times. It's like the sun goes up and it goes down. We have these cycles. Clearly, at the end of the day, when I'm getting ready to go to sleep, I hope I don't always remember, but I'm getting better at it. Thank you for bringing me through the day. Day is done. Gone's the sun. The lake and the hills and the sky, all is well. Fare ye well, God is nigh. Calming. It's peace of mind. To give yourself reminders that you are precious. And I don't say that in a new age woo-woo way, but that what is inside of you is not inside of anybody else. Your soul, you have the right to find out who you are and to have boundaries with that. During the day, you will have to do things you don't want to do, but that will make you strong. You'll develop a stronger core. And that is your self-esteem. That's your value system. To know that you can do things and work through things that you didn't want to do. It's not easy. This earth is not supposed to be easy. We are transmitting and transmuting. We are taking the will of God through us, and we are enacting these things to happen on the physical plane. How are we enacting that? By pushing our will and making things happen. And I don't mean being pushy, but to say, I'm going to work through this. I'm going to build this, create this. I'm going to clean this oven, whatever it is. Because those things really are sacred. Why? Because you are a God incarnate and you are doing it. You get that? Your soul is perfect on its own plane. That is God. And that's inside of you all the time. Whenever you do something, that is God incarnate doing that. So it is sacred in the world. And your daily life is sacred. There is nothing more precious, I think, than when we feel we are our beloved. When I do that, when I can do that, certainly don't live all day like that. But when I can remind myself of that, I ask Spirit, those who guard and guide me and put up with me, remind me to remind myself of that. And that is self-esteem.
That's so profoundly insightful. And it makes me wonder why I'm not walking in awe daily at the miracle that is my life instead of complaining about the drudgery of the dishes.
Because you're a normal human. I do the same thing. It's part of life. I don't know that we ever really get out of that. I don't know. I'm 73 at 83. Will I get it? I don't know. But I think the fact that you do those things, you live in your house, you work, you raise your children, you have a husband, you have a life, and you are still looking within yourself, asking yourself, what is this that I'm feeling? What you're feeling is you. And you feel this reactivity that we have to admitting that we are of the Godhead. We react to that because we don't want other people to think we're being hoity. You're not being hoity, because we say to them, you are too. So how does that look? That doesn't mean sit all day and own. That would drive me crazy. I'd drive everybody else crazy with it. I can't even sit still in this chair. I'm reactive. It's just how I am. I'm kinetic. So you have to find out ways that you are, what works for you. What works for me is I like to be busy. I like to act. I like to do things, to create. That is how God made me. Now I can also sit quietly. You know how they tell me, Zoli, just sit on your hands, be patient. Sometimes it's awful. It's awful, but it's that to be quiet inside is part of it. So you need to find out who you are and why you are. What are you doing? What am I doing during the day? Find out more about you. And perhaps take time during the day, maybe once or twice, to go, wow, I'm going to be a master one day. I might rule a universe one day. That's really true, but those things are hidden from us while we're busying and doing our life. Why? It's just how it is. And all the gurus and stuff that say, oh, you're wrong, you shouldn't feel that. Just change the channel, because they can't stop doing it either. They don't want you to know that. We're all the same, my friend. We have the same emotions. I'm just like you. You're just like me in that way. We have a certain amount of emotions and feelings, and there is a finite number of experiences. It may be in the billions, but we share that because we're one soul. I like to treat the checker at the grocery store the same as I would Queen Elizabeth or whoever when she was. You treat people the same way because what you're doing is responding to your own soul inside, because we are the same.
That's so much kindness in that. And just a simple act of love, treating everybody with love.
Wouldn't it be a cool place? It really would. It'd be a cool place on this earth if we were like that all the time. Well, it's coming. The day of declaration is destined to happen. You will see Maitreya on television. And after that, you will see the masters, some of the ones that are more known. Master Hilarion, I call him Hilarious, who was Paul, who was the Apostle Paul. You'll see John, and I forget who he is. But these are people. These are evolved people. That's not too far off that this is going to happen. Our world is going batshit crazy with fear. We have created this and we're going to fix it, but we're going to get help by having somebody present to us options. Nobody's coming to save you. You're not going to ascend. You're not going to go through a rapture. What's going to happen is you are going to get options. Now you choose, because that's free will. Even Maitreya himself, the Jesus the Christ, is not going to interfere with your free will. It's that sacred. That's why no aliens are coming to eat you. You probably taste like shit anyway because of all the chemicals we have. But you are not allowed to interfere with their free will. So what do we do about it? We ask God, help me. Spirit, help me. Put in my path the next step for me. I asked that. I told y'all a couple weeks ago, what's the next step? Well, what did I hear it was? Waiting. God, you don't say that to an Aries sun with Mars in the first house, a grand trine of the fire sign, Sag of the midheaven. I'm like, wait, I still gotta wait? What do you do while you're waiting? You do your life. And what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? We have these expectations and then we develop affectations connected to them. We expect. And when it doesn't happen, a lot of times right then, we get upset or think we failed. We are developing inside the core of who we are to be able to handle that when it happens. Well, maybe I thought I already figured it out. No, clearly not. Sit on your hands, Zoli. Wait.
That's the toughest answer. Just keep waiting.
Yeah, but see, I came in this lifetime. Part of my chief feature is impatience and persistence. I gotten the persistence thing down from ZoliArt. It took y'all 10 years to get me to do this. But the impatience, that is just part of who I am. Now, it's not all bad. It's not all bad because it gets me going. It gets me doing things. But inside, I can drive myself batshit crazy with it. Oh my God. I get impatient with my impatience. It's my chief feature. Everybody's got one.
So where does self-acceptance come from?
I think it's specific to the circumstance. I think there are areas that we have learned are ours. And there are areas that we go into that we try to do something in that are not ours to do. And we certainly can't accept ourselves if we're not being ourselves. That's a very hard thing to think about. Where does self-acceptance come from? I'm not sure it comes from anywhere except it develops. It's part of self-esteem. It's part of the beloved. It might be easier to accept ourselves as having negative behaviors if we understood where they came from. Your astrology chart's going to show a lot of that. In recovery, we call it stinking thinking. Get involved in negative thinking. It's where does this come from? What's the genesis of this? That can help us to accept those things as a reality in our behavior. And then we have to develop, I think, the self-esteem to either stop doing that or going, that's just not something I'm going to be good at.
So it's just a kindness, being kind to yourself, loving yourself.
The self-kindness is very important. It's part of the beloved. And it takes time. It's not just going to happen, boom, all at once. It takes time.
Well, thank you for reminding us to be patient with ourselves and to be kind and to just seek that self-awareness in our day-to-day lives.
You're indeed welcome. My pleasure. I am happier when I do those things. So feel free to remind me.
We'll remind each other. Thank you.
Thank you all. God bless.
Take care, everyone.